Good morning, crafty friends. Hello. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're finding time to do some crafty things today. So, we're still in the midst of Halloween, and I am so glad because this card I have been excited to share with you. I'm sure you have seen lots of projects using our very confused Frankenstein here, but isn't he cute? I love him. It's one of my favorite sets that came out this Halloween, and it's titled Abby Normal, because it's an abnormal brain and he's so confused. It's like, Abby Normal? Who's that? But we're using it on this fun trick or treat card where he's like, smell feet. And then on the inside, I'm going to write, give me something good to eat. So, and I thought I might stamp some footprints on the inside with that saying. So, okay, the other products I'm using besides the Abby Normal, and there are dies that go along that you can purchase also for the set. We're using the Gothic Glow paper. I absolutely love both of the paper pads that came out this year for Halloween. The alcohol inky one, and then this one. I love the colors. I love the textures. They're just fantastic papers. I'm going to be using the Comic Speech Bubble 2, and I'm going to be using this one, which I will trim down, and I'm going to use the little question mark. This is the Trick or Treat set, and I only have the background in here because I've got the word trick or treat already die cut over here, and we're going to be using that. And then I'm using the nightmare background. So one thing about the nightmare background is it only cuts out this image. So your outer edge, you want to have that already trimmed down to the size that you want it to be, because when it cuts out, it's just going to cut out this inner part. So, which is kind of fun because if you have a much larger, like let's say you're doing like a scrapbook page or something, you can cut this design into a scrapbook page without it, changing your whole thing. So, all kinds of ways to use that. All right, so to get started, I've gone ahead and die cut our frame out of some glitter foam. And I just like the dimension, and I love that kind of glittery look because I think it gives a fun kind of nighttime texture. And I like using the glitter foam better than just using black paper. I think it just adds a lot to your card. But the Gothic Glow paper pad is a 6x6, and we're making a slimline. So that created a little bit of a challenge. So what I decided to do was go ahead and place this part where I wanted it so that you could see the gravestones here. And then this piece has a tree here as well as this piece has a tree. So I wanted to just kind of marry those tree trunks up. Now, when I get ready to place my Frankenstein, now remember, we're not going to see this part up here. You're only seeing this part down here. And I thought the colors go together well enough, and we're going to place our Frankenstein right here so it kind of covers up our seam. So you can kind of creatively just, lay it out in a way that kind of hides the fact that you're marrying two pieces together. So to do this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to mark where I want to cut on each one. Because it's not really about measuring as much as it's about choosing what you want to be in your scene. So now that I have marked it, we're going to go ahead and cut it. Excuse me, I'm still living on cough drops here. I've had like the cold that will never end. Right there's my mark. And I always save these pieces because I use them eventually. Oh, this one, it's on this side. Okay. And then for this one, we'll go ahead. It's a little bit of a smaller space. I made my marks with a pencil. It's a little hard to see. All right, so there we go. Now the way I like to do this is I'm going to put it together here, and I'm going to turn it upside down and have that meet up. And I'm going to take a piece of tape, and I'm just going to use double-sided adhesive here. And I am going to tape those together, but I'm not going to remove that tape yet. So I've just created my background paper. So nothing too drastically difficult about that, but there we go. Now we have our background piece ready to go. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use some glue on this foam. And I'm pretty sure I cut my background piece here, my frame piece, to be about 3.5 by 8.5. And try to do that without getting my fingers in the glue. Definitely gives you some sliding time, but that ought to do it. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and set that aside. I'm going to set a couple blocks on it to kind of help that get adhered. I have the stamp here that says smell feet. I've got my trick or treat word all die cut already, ready to go. I cut 2 of the backgrounds, one in purple and one in green. And in our trick or treat set, it also comes with a die that cuts out 3 bats. And I don't know if you noticed, but we had a bat flying in the background, and so I have a couple bats left. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about Frank here. Frank is colored up. I wanted to share the marker colors that I used to color him. So for his skin, I used these 3 right here. If you like to use Copics, it's the YG07, YG05, and YG00. And I did a little bit of YG01 in there on just his little chin right here to give that more of a yellow look. For his got lots of purples here. For his undershirt and his lapels, I used all of these. The 9-1 and the 9-5 were for his t-shirt underneath. I wanted it to have a bit more of a gray look. And then for his lapel, I used the 01, the 000, and the V12. So that was just for his lapels. Then for his eyes and his blue jeans down here, I used the 9-1 and the 9-5. And for his jacket, and I was trying to pick up the colors that's in our paper, so that's why I chose the colors that I did. And for this, sorry, I'm trying to get them right side for you. For his jacket, it's the B60, B63, and B66. So that's just, sometimes people ask me about the Copic colors I use, so I'll just kind of hold them there. If you wanted to screenshot that, you would have the colors. All right. So we have him all ready to go. Now one thing about him, I'm only going to put a piece of foam right up here on the top of his head. Well, good morning, everybody. I just now looked up and saw the chat. Hello, Kathy and Terry. Hello. Oh, I'm so glad y'all love Halloween. Me too. So tell me in the chat, are you going to dress up for Halloween? Do you do a costume? Are you into that kind of thing? So this year I am, and I'll be sharing a little more about that next week. Okay, so right here, I'm only going to put a piece of foam right here on the back of his head, because when we glue him down, I want him to look like he's actually coming up out of the graveyard there. So, in fact, I think I'm going to double it up. Excuse me. I didn't use the thick tape, so I'm just going to double it up here with the thin stuff. There we go. All right, so he's all ready to go when we're ready. Now we'll do that in just a moment. We're going to add a little bit of shading to the green piece, and we're going to put the purple piece in the background. But before we do anything, let's go ahead and stamp our smell feet. I just think that's so funny. He's scratching his head like he's so confused. He's like, smell feet? Like, I don't know. Just funny. Not dressing up, huh? Just moved into a new neighborhood. You don't want to scare the neighbors yet. Let them get to know you from the beginning. So one year, me and my mom, my sister, a good friend, some of the granddaughters, we all dressed up like witches and we went to Disney World. So I have a wonderful witch costume that I love to bust out at Halloween time. So I am probably going to be doing that again. You have a Halloween shirt. I do have a couple Halloween shirts too. When we go over to our friends for trick-or-treating, I will use my Halloween shirt. I got a new one at TJ Maxx this year, so... Okay, I'm trying to get a hold of that purple one. Or I mean the green one. Okay, so this is just some mowed lawn, and I'm just going to go around this bottom edge to kind of give it a little just ombre look maybe. Not going too heavy. But I wanted the bottom half to look darker than the top half. Just to further that illusion of it coming up and out because it's darker down, you know. So I'm just adding some of that shading right down here at the bottom. Okay. Alright, so the next thing, I am going to put some foam between my two layers. And I'm going to offset the two layers so that you can see the purple layer kind of poking out. Okay. Now the last time I thought my offset was not quite big enough because I couldn't see as much of the purple as I wanted to, so this time I made that a little bit bigger. I'll show you on this one. You see it's just a little bit hard to see, so I wanted to make that outline a little bit bigger. Okay, so now for this part. And I did that trick where I fold my paper in half and glue it before I die cut it. So this is double thick. And I'm just going to go ahead and take the question mark out, because that's going to go over here. But for my trick or treat, let's see if I can pull that out. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. We're going to poke these all out and then line them up on our paper. I'll show you how I'm going to do this. Okay. I made the mistake of trimming my nails, and when I do that, it makes it so hard to pick paper up off of my desk. So much easier with long nails. So I'm going to lay these all out where they belong. Whoops, spelling it wrong. Okay, the O and the R I'm going to leave there. Alright. My A got whopper jawed a little bit. We'll fix that in just a second. Huh. Not wanting to cooperate. There we go. Just couldn't get that in place. Okay, so now that I have it the way that I want it, I have a piece of kind of like Post-it tape. They call it teal tape, but it's just a low-tack tape. And I'm going to put that on there so that it picks up all of my letters. I'm going to pick that up. And now we're going to apply our glue to all of my letters. Oh, I don't want to lose my O and my R. I just put them over here, didn't I? Alright, so now that we have it, I'm going to pull my O and my R back over here. Okay. Now we're just going to lay that right back in place. Whoops. Alright. Give that a chance to adhere. And then slowly peel back our paper. Alright, there we go. So, normally that is a super easy thing to do. Okay. Oh boy, y'all have been chatting and I've missed it because I was focused on that. Okay. Oh, you don't have too many trick-or-treaters. Yes. You know, we don't either. We live in a country neighborhood, and basically my friends' grandkids are the only ones we get here at our house. So every year we go over to a friend of ours' house and we sit out in their front yard, and we've been doing it for probably 15 years, and we have so much fun. It's something we all look forward to every year. So, all right, so I'm just going to put a couple dots of glue, and we're going to add our O and our R. All right, there we go. All right, so while we're at it, I definitely want to read and catch up on all this. I can't do it right now while I'm crafting, but at the end I'll definitely read back through all of the chat here. I'm sorry I'm missing it all. Alright, so here we go. I'm just going to put that question mark kind of at an angle right there. And there we go. Alright, so we've got all of our pieces made. Let's go ahead and remove all of this and finish our card off. Here's all of our pieces. Now, we are going to do one more thing to our sentiment here. So before we do anything else, let's add Frank in place. And I am putting glue right down here on his legs and on his one hand. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to tuck his knee kind of down in and hold this hand up so that his hand is actually on the outer frame. And there, so you can kind of see he's kind of popping up out of our background, which I think is pretty fun. All right, now I'm going to mount this about right here. And I think right here on this corner, I'll put just a little bit of foam, not a lot, but enough to keep that from sinking. So this Abby Normal stamp set has been quite popular this season. He is so fun to color. I don't know what it is about those lime greens and this paper with the lime green and purple. It really is just so fun. Okay, so for our bat, I'm going to take my fingers and fold his wings up, and I'm only going to glue him by his body so that he too appears as if he's kind of popping up off the page. There we go. And we're just going to add the one bat. Now the final thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to trim just around the edge here of my speaking bubble. Sometimes my trimming is a little better than others. Okay, now I'm going to come with one of my markers. I'm going to try it with this VG30 first and see how I like that. But I'm going to go around the edges. Oh, that's too light. What's my next one? VG01. Let's try that one. Yeah, that's the one I want. And I'm just using the edge of it to go around my speech bubble. And that's actually a little trick that Jen Shirkus has been doing over on Lawn Fawn. And I find sometimes it really just helps your... It's kind of nice to do sometimes. Especially in a dark scene like this, I felt like it just helped it stand out a little better. I'm actually going to put it right there. And just like that. Alright, so I would mount this card on an 8.5 by 3.5 card base, and probably I'm going to use a black card base and then make a white piece to go on the inside. And like I said, with my hand, I'm going to write, "Give me something good to eat," and then stamp maybe some footprints along there, because he's saying smell feet, and as if he just heard somebody say trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat, you know. And so anyway, I just thought that was so funny. I love this little guy. So if you're interested in any of these sets, they're listed below the video like normal. And I hope y'all are getting excited for Halloween. I have at least one more really fun project that I am so excited to share with you, and we'll be announcing some things about that later. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to crafting with you again soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.